Hello, everyone. Welcome to Pen to Paper. I am back today to share some writing training with you. Now, I actually had a different idea for what I was going to do today, but then last week during my in person writing group that is local to me in Alexandria, Ontario, we talked about imposter syndrome and how it was really a big issue for a lot of people. And I know when I first started writing and when I was first published and I'm trying to get my name out there, it was a really big deal. But I have a system for you that is going to be easy to memorize, or I hope it is. It's only got 3 letters. And some of you might know me for my acronyms. I enjoy using them. I think it's just easier to remember than, trying to think up of concepts that are maybe not as easy to access in the brain. So I have an acronym for you today, and I actually use it in my Instagram teaser, and the acronym is MAD. Do you feel like you're going mad when you're experiencing imposter syndrome and you have this dream, you have this idea for a book, but you don't feel like you can attain it because who are you to be able to do something like that, especially when you've never done it before? And you're not the only one feeling like that. A lot of people feel that, especially if you're starting out. And even writers who have been doing this for years still feel imposter syndrome. So, what is the secret? What is my secret? Okay, I'll tell you a little bit of my story first. So, when I first started writing, I didn't have a community around me. I didn't have anyone mentoring me. I was just kind of going into it with full determination. I knew this is what I wanted to do. I had a very strong vision and plan for my book. But again, I don't know anything about writing a book. So, what I did was I did a lot of research, I educated myself. I read a lot of books on not only books in my genre, but books on how to write. I also took a writing course that helped equip me with, just the basics of story, plot, character, setting, all that. And then took 7 years to write my first book. Now, the imposter syndrome really kicked in when I would call up like indigos and ask them to showcase my book and have a book signing. And I don't, if anybody saw me back then, I was just a nervous, like very, very nervous in the sense I'd be calling and I could feel my whole body shaking because I'm like, again, who am I? Sure, I wrote the book, I published the book, but who am I to actually go into a store and sell my book to people who are going to read it? Like, I don't know. The first time, I don't know what I'm doing, right? So I would call and I'm shaking and I'm sure my voice was shaking at the same time like, "Hi, I want to put my book in your bookstore." Like this is what my book's about. But the great thing is that people in the writing and reading community tend to be very open-minded about including all sorts of different stories. And so I think that's what helped me get out of my shell, but also constantly doing it. Practicing it was a huge help to me as well. So because I had the determination to just get myself out there, doesn't matter if I was scared or nervous, and then doing it and practicing it, and now looking back at all those times where I actually achieved, you know, what I wanted to achieve. And even though I felt like an imposter, I still did it anyways. That's pretty much my system on how to defeat imposter syndrome. So let's get into the system, the acronym that I have for you today. And the acronym is MAD. So M stands for mindset, A stands for action, and D stands for direct evidence. Now, let me flesh this out a little bit for you. M for mindset. It all begins in the mind. That's what I tell myself. That's what I tell everyone else because how true is that? If you believe certain things about yourself, lies are very detrimental. And it could be lies that you've told yourself your whole life. It could be lies that other people are telling you. Oh, you want to write a book. How are you going to do that? How are you going to figure it out? Do you think you're really the type of person who could write a book and publish a book? And it doesn't even have to be people who tell you that. You're probably telling this to yourself. Maybe you have published a book and maybe you want to try a new genre. Why are you writing fantasy when you're so used to writing historical fiction? Case in point, me. That's that's kind of how I feel because I am going to be doing a fantasy collaboration. Although that little lie stayed in my head for maybe an amount of 3 minutes, and then it was out the door. And I'll share my reason how and why. But it's really important to understand how you view yourself. Yes, be aware of how others view you, but at the same time, when it comes down to it, if they view you according to lies and according to how the lies that you view yourself through, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what they say because it's not the truth. The truth is you have a story, you have a vision, and you know that you can actually accomplish what you set your mind to. That's what you need to remember. That's what you need to arm yourself with. So when you have those lies creeping up in your mind, there's a variety of ways you can remind yourself. You can maybe come up with a little slogan to help remind yourself, no, I am a creator, I'm a visionary, and I'm going to get this done. Sticky note it all over your fridge or your mirror or whatever you need to remember that those lies have no place in your head and in your heart and in your soul, if you believe in that kind of stuff. So that is mindset for you. It's just incredibly important. If you don't have the mindset down as a good foundation, everything else that comes after it cannot stand on its own. You need to have your mindset intact and strong because that's where that enemy is going to pop up in through fear, through intimidation, through the mind. So that's why I'm putting so much emphasis on your mindset and making sure that that is strong. Oh, oh, thank you. Thank you so much. I just realized, yeah, I have comments. Is this AI? No, it's not AI. This is me. I'm real. I know it's hard to understand if things like this are real anymore, right? Because and by the way, I just want to say too, if you have any questions, please put them in the chat below. If you need me to explain more on M, which is mindset, please let me know. A for action and D for direct evidence. But hopefully, I'm expanding on this enough for you so that you can take this and apply it in your own life. So, next, let's go into A for action. Once you've got your mindset down, then you need to start acting on it, which means taking action. I like to think of, I would like to throw out the comfort bubble. And it's something I heard at a conference many years ago, but it's something that's very true in my life. And if I explain it this way, it might help you to visualize what you're pushing up against. So everyone has a bubble that they live in, and that's where they feel comfortable. But if you want to reach goals that you know you're meant to reach, it's not going to happen inside this comfort bubble. Your regular day to day mundane life happens in the bubble. But to reach your dreams and go beyond, you need to push the bubble. And I'm not saying pop the bubble and break out, because if you have no comfort at all, that could be very jarring. What I want you to do is I want you to stretch out your comfort bubble every day. Do it every day. You could do it without relating to writing. I don't know, trying something new at the same restaurant that you go to instead of buying the same thing. But let's say for writing, you could try a new, like writing exercise. Try sending a piece of writing to a critique partner, someone who's going to give you their full attention and this is what's good, this is what can be improved upon. Find something, and if you can't do it every day, if you're thinking every day is way too much, I can't take that kind of stretching like every day, that's okay. Try once a week. Can you stretch yourself once a week? Do something uncomfortable once a week with your writing, whether it's trying a new genre, trying a new writing exercise, sending your work to someone and being willing to hear what they have to say about your work. Try something new. By trying something new, You're going to stretch that comfort bubble. So where it used to be this big, it's going to get this big, and then it's get bigger and bigger and bigger. I think the reason why I feel very comfortable now trying new things. Okay, now it could be I'm more predisposed to trying new things. I think it's just part of my nature. I'm very adventurous, I'm very curious. So it's even the stretching of the comfort bubble might be easier for me than it is for you. That's okay. Everyone's different. But it is a necessary thing to do when you are reaching for a dream, when you are attaining dreams, to actually stretch yourself at the right time, in the right way, but it still needs to be done. So that is one way to help yourself think of, well, what kind of actions can I take? You can stretch your comfort bubble, take actions. Also, when you're taking action, it needs to be consistent. So that's why I said, like, if you can't do every day, do once a week. Have a consistent time when you're stretching yourself, um, and practice it often. It's a discipline, and at first, it's not going to feel nice, but once you're actually doing it, you come to enjoy it. You know why? Because you actually see the fruit of your practicing, and that's what A action is all about. The last one, and it kind of directly follows action. So D is direct evidence. So you have M for mindset, bulk it up, armor it up. So you're ready to take action, A for action. D is direct evidence, because when you take action, you can look back on all that you've accomplished and see, oh my goodness, I did this. Like, I can't believe I never would have been this person 6 months ago, a year ago, but look at what I'm doing now. One way that you can help yourself remember is, okay, in the last session I did, we talked about journaling. You can journal these things down. So today I wrote 1,000 words in, I don't know, 40 minutes, 45 minutes. And if that's going to help you realize that, yes, you can write your book, you are the type of person who can finish your first draft, then write these things down. It doesn't even have to be all flowery. It could just be a log. So have a logbook, your date, how much you did. I did it. Check mark, complete, right? What else? If you did something different, like, okay, I called up an Indigo and they said yes, put it in your logbook so you can see it. It just, a lot of us are visual. We need to see our evidence, not just think of it up here, especially if you're an internal processor or you just tend to think a lot and then you get in your own head. And then that's where, if your mindset's not strong, that's what the fear can come in. The fear, the procrastination can come in and destroy that mentality of I can do this. So don't let it stay in your head, write it down. Or, I tend to be a head person. I tend to keep a lot of things up here, and I do need to be better at journaling. But one thing that I do is I do raise up memories in my head of, oh yeah, back in 2017, I did my first book tour. I called all the spots where I wanted to sell my book, speak, and I did that. And so I can look back on that and say, wow, okay, if I did that, now I can do this, whatever I'm shooting for in the next stage, in the next time of this process. So that is my MAD system to beat imposter syndrome. I know this is a quick overview, as I said this, but if there's any questions, I will give you a little bit of time to ask your questions. And if there's not, just drinking some water, that's okay too. I hope that this training was helpful. And if ever you want to just ask me more questions in person, you can always email me. You can do all that jazz. I'll have that available in the description below. So have an amazing day. Remember, stretch your comfort bubble. You can do this. Believe truth, not lies about yourself. And write down, log it on what you have accomplished, and take a look back every once in a while and just be proud of yourself for what you've done. You've got this. All right. Have an amazing day.